we start off.
Oh god.
Just make a sound bite of that.
As if I didn't sound southern enough.
It was cool and rainy here. Well, I'm back from the dead.
Oh no.
Are you all set now, Vashi?
Dude?
He might have his mic muted just to figure out.
Sorry, I had issues. I had feedback. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're not hearing ourselves anymore.
Yeah, I kind of forgot to hit a button. I apologize to everybody who's watching the stream, but welcome everybody to the Toku Portal podcast for Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger, episode 18. I am Vashi V, and here with me today is...
Kid.
King?
And Rai.
And today we're talking about Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger, episode 18. So we start off, just like any other episode, get a lucky recap. Pretty optimistic because they only needed one more Kyutama for the Argo ship, but his tone changes. It looks like we might have a technical issue
with your notes.
Yeah. No.
Zero just said the stream is frozen.
He says that every week.
Open? Yeah.
No kidding.
It's saying the keyframe.
Oh yeah, I have 7% drop frames.
Apologize, everybody. We are having technical difficulties, and apparently I'm having them with my mouth.
No, let's just do the stream like this live. Blah 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 blah. It's not like this was a really good episode of KyuuRanger or anything.
Yeah.
Sorry if that was a spoiler.
Really slowly.
Sorry if saying this was a good episode was a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Because apparently there are people that are like, yeah, even me saying it's good is a spoiler.
If they've seen the previews, they know it's a spoiler that it's good.
All right, we're going.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Back to life, back to reality.
Okay.
Sorry.
So yeah, Lucky's tone changes when he reveals that the Rashinban Kyutama was stolen. And then we pan to Lucky, Garuhami, and Naga chasing Madako in a ship. She reveals to the audience that she's doing this to please Scorpio, of course. She avoids Sho's ambush, but flies straight into a black hole. Raptor reports that there's a 99% chance they won't be able to return if they enter, but Lucky believes in the remaining 1% and goes in full speed. And then the other Voyagers get caught in the gravity field and fall into the black hole. So on the other side, Dicker Red in the Pat Striker observes them falling to Earth and assumes that they're illegal invaders. And then we get the opening. Thoughts?
Oh boy. I get that jumping through a wormhole into your version of Earth would seem a bit strange, but do you have to assume that the guys in brightly colored giant robots, looking very similar to yours, I might add, are illegal travelers?
Hey,
when you know the Sentai exist?
Hold on, did you watch Deca Ranger? Because all of their criminals that they chase down use giant robots.
Yeah, but not giant, brightly multicolored ones that are similar in design at the same time. I'm not saying they weren't brightly multicolored, but did you ever see 5 at once?
Well, we don't know what his adventures in Fire Squad were like.
Fair point. Still, I mean, it was nice to see Bon.
Apparently, he found evil Sentai members. Damn, go Kaiger.
Space pirates.
They're pretty close.
I liked this opening a lot. How the recap just segues into Lucky being like, "Shit sucks right now, yo."
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's accurate.
I will admit I am kind of glad that
You're kind of glad
everybody
what?
finding that they glossed over the finding the Q-Tama and all that. I mean, I would have liked to have seen that, but yeah, I'm
No need to
glad
rush it. Like
Right.
when it's a good episode like this one and not a blatant filler, no need to rush it.
right. And it was it was a good episode, and like I said, I like the fact that they glossed over it. My only issue is none of this episode would have happened if Lucky wasn't a jackass.
And fly into the black hole.
Right. Because, granted, yeah, if Madako had entered it, so they would have lost the Q-Tama, but at the same time,
They would have lost their map.
right. But you go through everything that from the without getting into quantum mechanics, black hole equals death outside of Sentai. And
Well, this wasn't actually a black hole. It was a wormhole. I don't know where Raptor got her information from.
well, does it count of a wormhole if it goes to another dimension?
Do you know what a wormhole is?
Yeah, but wormholes traverse the galaxy, not dimension to dimension. In theory, anyways, because this is all theoretical.
I'm just curious as to how Madako actually got the Q-Tama and got away in that giant ship. Like,
Anything,
how the hell did that happen?
anything you imagine will be better than if they actually showed it to us.
True,
Good point.
True. Okay, so continuing. Let's see. Yeah, then we cut to Madako narrowly escaping her exploding ship. She is soon found by the flirtatious new Gavan, Jumonji Geki. Then we get the episode title. Space 18 Emergency Deployment. Space Heroes. Naga reports to Lucky that their Voyagers aren't too heavily damaged, but he cannot contact the others. The two recognize that they are on Earth, but they notice the lack of Moraimasu. The two spot Madako on Star Change. Gavan assumes that she's the victim of stalking from the Rangers, and of course, she plays along.
Well, she was clearly feeding him those lies.
Yeah. Affectionately calling Geki Mr. Officer. The two Rangers wonder what an officer is. Geki transforms and roll calls before announcing that they're under arrest. And once again, they have no idea what the heck he's talking about. And then he attacks. Thoughts?
Oh boy. just quick question to you guys. In what world is that considered cute? Being totally asking an honest question here. But I don't know. I mean, he knows what the Sentai are, right? So
Well, that doesn't mean anyone that shows up in a red suit is a Sentai.
doesn't mean every guy in silver is a space sheriff. Look, what I mean is, he at least acknowledges that the Sentai exist with Decorated later, so yes, they're from a different dimension, but how does he not recognize they're at least a Sentai? Or that she's a freaking squid monster who appeared out of nowhere. I thought they fought those on a regular basis.
Hey.
So attractive to him.
That is racist. Okay, not all squid monsters. Well, first off, she's an octopus, and I'm sure that not all aliens are bad.
I'm not saying they are.
I mean,
But yeah, the argument that
neither.
the argument that like, oh, they look like a Sentai. Why wouldn't anyone recognize them like that? Because anyone could just dress up like that.
I understand that, but if she wants to act like a brat, I'm gonna treat her like a brat because that is not cute and innocent. I don't care how you look at it. Yes, some aliens can be good. They've shown that time and time again on this series. That is not what they've shown. I'm sorry. I just feel that way.
So I noticed a little something when Madako crash landed, and there was a little fine detail on her suit that you can notice in the picture I posted. Her suit has underwear.
Oh yeah, I noticed that like a long time ago. She's wearing some skimpy like bikini thong thing. I was like, okay.
I never noticed that before. I only noticed it now because she was rolling on the ground and her ass is like half in the air.
I've seen that thing since Ryu Commander debuted.
Sorry that I wasn't looking at the octopus's ass.
Okay.
That's racist. That's racist.
Sorry that I was respectful towards a woman.
Okay, fair enough.
And Vashi's gone.
Shoot.
What does that mean for the stream?
It means we keep going, because it should still be streaming, and if it wasn't, Zero would have told us.
Right.
If he has something to say, he can get it out when he gets back.
Look, I'm sorry about how I feel about Madako, but I'm the only girl here. I'm gonna be mad at the only girl in there besides Hammy.
Hame.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just more of a humor thing, Geki being just a
being a sucker
kind
for
of
a girl.
meathead.
I don't know. I haven't seen Space Sheriff Gavin. By the way, people, if you couldn't tell, this episode of KyuuRanger is a crossover with both Deca Ranger, an earlier Sentai, and Space Sheriff Gavin, a different Toei hero series.
Yes. Very interesting. Okay. Looks like the stream's still good. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so Gavin attacks. Then we cut to an amusement park with roller coasters and other rides. Blue giant talking dog.
Yeah, also blue. It is, by description, a similar appearance.
Yes. Sholompo assures them that they're innocent. Umeko asks for their visas, but Hami gets excited after hearing pizza. They basically have no idea what the SPD are talking about and are arrested.
Hame's English clearly is not very good.
Yeah.
Well, she was close. Not by much, but she was close.
It was a cute mistake.
She said it fast. Maybe she got it mixed up.
Any input, Bashi?
Hold on a second.
Oh.
I have no drop frames.
We're having issues.
Okay. Zero just said it's good.
Okay.
Yay.
So, Vashi, do you have any thoughts on the groups meeting up? Because you cut out?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, it was a nice little touch of like seeing the the actual cast back from Deca Ranger, at least for the majority of them, and just the way they immediately went, "Hey, Garu, you're the commander's brother." I thought that was great. Gavan, the Madako Gavan, that I didn't have an issue with that, considering the fact that the universe, at least in Deca Ranger, there were good aliens. The fact that she looks like a giant walking evil octopus.
Thank you.
But Gavin not understanding anything. He's a sheriff. He saw what looked to be a space traffic accident. Saw a damsel in distress and sided with her. I can understand that. And it's not like Lucky and Naga made the situation any better just by outright attacking her.
I think Geki saw the bikini, and then all hope was lost from there.
What I really like though is that the way Lucky and Naga, sorry, approach Madako is the same way like you'll see other characters approach someone running away when the heroes are just the ones that are only witnessing it for the first time. So we're basically seeing this kind of thing from the opposite end for once.
Interesting way to look at it.
It's like if the KyuuRangers were just walking down the street and then somebody ran by them and then someone else shot him and was like, "Hey, you, stop."
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. So moving on, let's see. Yeah, we cut to Gavan using signature moves on the Rangers. Madako escapes in the confusion. Naga decides to break up the fight between Gavan and Lucky. He's knocked out cold. Then we cut to Neo Deca Base, which is nice and shiny. Deca Pink and Green are having a hard time understanding the KyuuRanger's story because everything they're talking about doesn't even exist in their galaxy. Doggy Kruger walks in and surprises the KyuuRangers. Hami thinks that it's Garu's older brother. Garu runs up to Boss and nuzzles against him before scolding Hame for misleading him. Sholompo then praises Boss for having such a helpful younger brother. Boss thanks Sho for taking care of his little brother before he finally snaps out of it. And he just informs the KyuuRangers that they better hurry before they lose their chance to return home.
I love
Pretty funny scene.
Yeah, I love the idea for that. For a second, Doggy Kruger gets confused and is like, "Oh, he's my brother. Okay." Like, wait, what? No, fuck you.
Well, I mean, he was trying to show hospitality to a polite gesture. Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, I love that. Just in his in the first split second, he gets confused about what's going on.
Oh, you mean for a split second he was Sholompo?
Pretty much, it really shows how the KyuuRangers' antics can just affect other people that are normally level-headed.
Sholompo's trolling was too strong.
Doggy Kruger is by no means a silly character, but this just shows that he does have silly moments at times.
It's the Q curse.
Sholompo just has that effect on people.
To me, the best part of that was the fact that for a split second, Kruger ran with it. And I thought that was awesome. He's like, because he walks in, he sees him as obviously his first thought is, that's not my brother. And the fact that Garu even the fact that Garu ran with it after, pointing out earlier in the episode that he doesn't have any brothers left, because he's the last of his planet.
Garu was just so excited to see another of his species. Even though they're probably not the same species.
No, but they're two anthropomorphic dog-like people.
Okay.
And they're both blue.
With gray hair.
Okay.
And can transform.
Oh.
By description, they look alike.
Yeah. And just because they're technically might be from different planets doesn't necessarily mean they could have come from the same ancestor per se. And they've not. From what I remember from Deca Ranger, I don't believe they ever established the genocide of Doggy's race. So
they
maybe
did not.
Okay, thank you. So maybe in some timeline of the normal universe, not the one the KyuuRangers are from, but where Garu might actually be related to him in some way. I don't know. But I did like the fact that there was a culture shock here. In more ways than one. Like how Sen and Umiko didn't know about the KyuuRangers, the legend was never passed in our world. But in their world, they've never even heard of the police system. They've never heard of officers like Gavin or the Deck Rangers or anything, really.
It's no wonder Dark Matter had such an easy time taking over.
Exactly!
Right, because apparently they didn't have, however number Sentai teams that we have at this point to deal with.
Right. Like,
They had
Zangief
none.
had all of the Sentai on Earth to deal with and stopped them. Dark Matter did not have even close to that kind of a resistance.
So it was easy pickings. But I like the comparison between cop and savior. Because really, when you think about it, when you run both ends to each other, they're not all that different.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So moving on, yeah, we cut to Geki angry that he was not informed of the truth sooner, when he's the one who pretty much just rushed in and attacked. Naga asks what an officer is. Geki explains that it's someone who protects the safety of citizens so they can live in peace. Naga explains that there's no such people in their galaxy because of dark matter, and there's no safety or peace as well. Geki gets upset because in his galaxy there's space sheriffs like Gavan, Sharivan, and Scheider. And then we get like a little flashback to the new Gavan movie, which I would recommend to people that they watch the trilogy because pretty action-packed, pretty awesome. Sharivan's played by Geki Violet's actor, and Scheider is played by Date Akira, Kamen Rider Birth's actor. So, yeah, veterans. Awesome. Yeah, because in Geki's universe, the space sheriffs destroy evil organizations like Dark Matter. Lucky wonders if it's like being a savior, but Geki's not too certain, because it's just his job, really. Lucky then brags that the KyuuRangers are better because they're the ultimate saviors. Then Geki's Doragiran flies overhead, hijacked by Madako. So, what were your thoughts on the scene?
Other than the fact that the hijacking was kind of funny, I guess. Like I said earlier about the savior and the cop thing, I thought it was a nice comparison. Also, I think the KyuuRangers have earned the right to brag, considering they've saved how many planets now? Okay, maybe not entirely, but mostly. Is that fair?
They're still the rookies, though, compared to everyone else in this crossover.
Okay, true. But hey, they're working with basically nothing. I mean, think about it. The Decker Rangers and the Space Sheriffs, they had guys to bounce off of. KyuuRangers started from scratch. If you count show, I mean. But, yeah, I thought that was kind of fun.
I really liked Naga saying that Lucky and Geki have a really good combi together, and then both of them get pissed off like, what do you mean I'm like that guy?
Classic Toku.
I just like that Lucky found someone he can't get along with. Vashi?
Sorry, I had issues with my mobile version of this now. The culture shock and all that. It was a nice little touch to kind of signify the main differences between the two, universes and all this. But like I get Geki going. I don't know if it's the same as a savior because, like Decade said, it's just a job to him. And I kind of want one of these crossovers to go through without the metaphorical penis waving contest. Because I'm sorry, that's literally what Lucky did. He's like, oh, that's like a savior. We're better. And
Oh,
it
you
drives
think you have
me
a
nuts.
big... Oh, you have a modest dick, huh? I have a huge dick.
And it's irritating. I mean, because they kind of tend to do this with most of the crossovers, at least with the Tyson movies and whatnot, in the crossover movies, where instead of just figuring things out, they literally just charge in and go, "No, I'm better," and fight each other. It gets irritating after a while.
Well, in this one, they did all their fighting first.
Thankfully.
And then proceeded to measure, which I thought was, because usually the fights are the measuring comparison. I'm better than you because I'm stronger because I beat you, or they come to a mutual understanding that they're on the same side and that all that stops. But with Lucky, it's like the fight basically ended in a draw because Naga got in the way and got double comic punched.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then it just literally just Lucky just started measuring it. It was irritating to see. For somebody who was supposed to be, for the lack of a better term for Lucky in this situation, would be the cool and collected guy. Like I said, it's a poor turn of phrase, but accurate. He would in the main universe he wouldn't have acted like that. Granted, because there's nobody in the universe to act like that with. Well, except maybe Stinger. But it's always been kind of he always kind of took everything as, well, we're all on the same side kind of thing. And it drove me a little nuts that they did that.
Yeah, there's kind of one good thing about the KyuuRanger Ninja versus movie is that the Reds are kind of the only ones not comparing junk. So that's kind of fun. But moving on, so the two follow in their Voyagers. Geki boards the Shishi Voyager. Before jumping out of the Voyager to board his own ship, he tells Lucky Gavan's catchphrase, Yoroshiku Yuki, which basically means welcome courage. And then he jumps aboard the ship. Doragiran crashes, ejecting Geki and Madako. Lucky pushes Geki out of the line to fire. Out of the line of fire, and is propelled by the subsequent explosion headfirst into Madoko's collarbone, knocking her away. Geki's impressed. Naga notices again that they're a good combo. Madako tries to fire again, but is blasted by Deca Red. Fire Squad Chief Akaza Bamban. He reveals that the wormhole is sinking and that they won't be able to return soon. The other Rangers are using Ryuteo and Deca Wing Cannon to keep it open for now. Just blasting it open. Pretty awesome. Madako summons a death worm. Before transforming, Bamban calls the Rangers Kohai. He explains that because they're Space Sentai too, they're his Kohai. Lucky has no idea what he's talking about, but is still hyped. The four transform. Lucky Star starts playing, and then we get a roll call. Thoughts?
That was just awesome. I mean, for one, the luck sequence for him to headbutt her into her collarbone that hard just shows that dude has guts, I'll say. Bond showing up, of course, awesome. Ryuteo using the Deca Wing Cannon, awesome. And the roll call was so worth the measuring contest in any way, shape, or form. And I like that she summoned the Death Worm. Nice Nice bring out, and the senpai kohai thing I thought was adorable. But yeah, I can't really think of much else other than that. It was awesome across the board, I'll say.
So am I the only one that thought that Lucky got a face full of octopus tits?
I thought that for a second until Decade said collarbone.
I was thinking the same thing, but they played like the doink sound, so it sounded like his head hit something hard. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could have put a different sound effect there, but his head.
Thankful that they didn't.
We don't know what her anatomy is.
She could have like a good exoskeleton.
I'm out of here.
Hey.
Bye.
Other than that, yeah, the roll call was great. The team up roll calls are always one of the best parts of the team ups. It would have been nice if all the Deca Rangers could have been there, but this was equally good and a lot faster to get through.
Like, I agree. I was slightly disappointed that they didn't all show up. And I was actually disappointed that Blue wasn't in the episode at all. I can't remember his name. But,
Hoji.
Yeah, Hoji. The fact that he wasn't in the episode at all. And Jasmine. Because, those were my favorite two of the series.
And Tetsu.
Nonsense. He wouldn't have shown up to the movie.
I was disappointed, or I initially started to get disappointed when Bon Bon finally showed up, and he was already transformed. I was like, "Are you really not going to have him back?"
No, they did though.
I'm like, but they did. I was like, as soon as he dropped out of his transformation, I was like, "Oh, thank you, Christ!" I was like, he was part of the reason why I liked Deca Ranger so much, and he is one of the premier characters that I will use for an example of character development, from going from a very, very irritating character to being one of the best developed characters in my opinion. To me, it's because we keep antiquating Lucky to Bon Bon for the start of the series about how he's not showing any promise or any change, and they finally started to work that. I don't know how far they're going to get with it because they seem to be backpedaling a little bit. But the roll call and all that was awesome. And I loved seeing the Ruteo use the Deca Cannon. I thought that was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was really good. Man, it's really good to see how far Bon has come after all this time, over 10 years later. He's still wearing that Fire Squad jacket. It's really good.
Got bumped up to Chief too. Congrats, dude.
Yeah. So then Sharivan and Naga quickly defeat the Death Worm. Sharivan, why did I put Sharivan? Gavan. I was thinking of the movies too much. They're pretty awesome people. So Gavan and Naga quickly defeat the Death Worm with their finishers. We finally get Naga's finisher name, which is Ophiuchus Impact. Then Toku Sentai KyuuRanger, I think the 10 years after version starts playing, and the 4 finish Madako and get the Rashinban Kyutama. Then the Death Worm turns giant. Lucky's pushed aside, and Gavan summons the Electric Space Beast Doru, and then Uchukeiji Gavan Type G starts playing, which is basically the new version of it. And he jumps on its head. And then Recommander shows up in his Voyager, and Lucky jumps on his head. Deca Red wonders if there's a point in standing there, but Naga just confirms that they're a good combo after all. And then they defeat the Death Worm. Thoughts on these fights?
Meta and awesome rolled into one. Yeah, there wasn't really much point in him jumping up on new Voyager. Still looked cool, and it's probably the only time we're gonna get it. So I'll take that victory. yeah, I can start to see the similarity personality-wise. Like that we finally got Naga's finisher name. And anybody up for takoyaki? Because I am so happy she is gone. Finally.
I just love when Lucky jumps on Ryu Voyager and Bon is just like, why? Why is he up there? uh,
Because it's badass.
I also love that, like, when the KyuuRangers do get back home, they celebrate killing the octopus monster by eating octopus.
Spada's troll levels are rising.
Oh, man. I would love it if that was a recurring gag. Like, every week, whatever the animal the monster of the week is, Spada serves that food for them at the end of each episode. That would have been good.
Makes you wonder why he didn't serve fried calamari.
Yeah.
Although I guess it would be awkward if they eventually kill Scorpio and it's like, alright, Stinger, do you want Scorpion?
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
Now let him pick dinner.
Just don't let Spada cook, steak if Champ dies.
Oh, God.
But I'm still trying to figure out, other than the fact that it was badass, that he jumped on top of the Ryu Voyager, because it literally made no sense other than the fact that he wanted to emulate Gavan for a minute. I'm the only thing I'm curious about with this is whether or not they'll bring back Madako somehow. Because we run through this, she's died in an alternate, universe. So does she revive there and come back through the Taisen movie?
Didn't she revive because she had part of her body to revive from?
Right. I mean, there's still a possibility that there's a small part of it that still exists, because she may not have completely been destroyed from the explosion. So, because I don't see them killing her off in essentially, for lack of a better term, a crossover filler episode. So it's one of I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, and the whole process of her reviving wasn't really explained. I mean, all we got was a bit of time, and then eventually Ika again just threw her tentacle, and she just spawned out of it. So who knows?
Well, to be fair, both times she's died, a part of her was still there, whether it was her body or her tentacle.
Yeah, that's about all we know, though.
They kept that consistent at least.
Yeah. So then, let's see. Yeah, they defeat the Death Worm. Lucky thanks Gavan and Bonbon for the help. The KyuuRangers return through the wormhole just in time. Then we cut to Umeko, Senchan, and Dagi Kruger. Umeko is ready to go to the salon to prepare for her wedding with Sen. Chan, Dagi asks if they got their visas because they're having the wedding on another planet. Senchan suggests that they leave quickly and takes Umeko by the wrist after she responds, "Oh, cute." But Boss refuses to do the same. Pretty funny. And then to get to what we were talking about earlier, we cut to the Oriongo. Spada serves some fresh hot takoyaki. Balance, Spada, and Raptor are a bit jealous of their adventure. The Rangers are inspired by their senpai's accomplishments and the smiles of the ordinary citizens that they protected. And Naga makes a half-decent smile this time. Not as creepy as some of the ones we've gotten in the past. And the Rangers celebrate. But to quickly change the tone, We cut to Stinger silently leaving Champ's treatment facility in his old garb. Episode end. Thoughts?
Oh. Okay, like I said earlier, I love the takoyaki bit. Like you guys said earlier, hope they don't serve steak for Champ. The wormhole thing, I'm glad they got through. Like Vashi, I'm wondering how Madako is gonna fit in with that. Maybe at some other point. I am very worried for Stinger, though. I don't know what they could do with that now. Like, they've already issued that he's there because they know he's gonna run off and kill himself. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that now. And I'm just worried in general for him because I don't like the character. I don't want him to die. And is it me, or is it the more you see Naga smile, the more genuine it seems? Because like you guys said, it looked pretty half decent. And I don't know what it is. The more I see it, the less forced it seems.
He's getting better at smiling.
Yeah, I think that's just a nice subtle change they've been doing. It doesn't look quite so forced, more so genuine. And hell, he smiles more than Hito does in X8, so I'll take it.
What was I gonna say? Oh, it was really good to see them continue the Sen and Umeko relationship, which started over 10 years ago, mind you. They're finally getting married.
Yeah, right there.
I don't know if it's normal for people to date for over 10 years before getting married, but these two did. So that's something. As for Stinger, he took off his the thing that they used to transform with. I forget what it's called.
Blaster?
Okay. He took that off before putting his other thing back on, which makes me think one of two things. Either he's going to go back to trying to be a spy again and maybe not be so bad at it this time, or he is contemplating just quitting being a hero altogether. Just quitting, like, this whole involvement.
From your encoder.
Okay, give it a second.
Okay, back up.
Yay.
I
You might as well just repeat what you once said.
I'll restart that. For me, there are three options. The two that Rai said, going back and being a possible terrible spy, hopefully not as bad this time, but I don't see that happening. Or giving up being a hero, which, I mean, it would fit with, the self-loathing that Stinger has over this whole situation with Champ and with his brother and all that. Or he's just going to go suicide mission on Scorpio. And those are the three things that I think are going to happen with that. It was nice to see the relationship between Umeko and Sen still going on, and it's still all nice and good. I'm slightly disappointed that they've not gotten married yet, because I don't think they have. I don't think they would have mentioned that if they had.
Like, they're getting married now, like.
But I did like the whole, the whole episode. All they're doing is
say that.
I'm not doing the floors like catchphrase.
That was awesome. I liked that.
It plays into, like, when Shilompo is trying to figure out what to say, and he's like, Roger? No, not that.
Yeah, anything but that. I think that's the whole reason why they put that scene in for this episode, was because they tossed that in to be funny. Because I really think the whole Roger thing was put in to be funny, and referenced Deck Ranger a little bit, and obviously Go Buster.
Yokai.
So for them to turn it around, in the crossover special with Doggy Kruger going, no, that's dumb. It was a nice little, haha, we can do it too. It's not just not Doggy Kruger that can do it. But yeah, watching this episode, in the back of my head, every time Sholumpo came on screen, my brain went, not Doggy Kruger, not Doggy Kruger. Every time, all because me and Ryan made a dumb joke at the start of this series about how they looked similar and were in the same position and all that.
Honestly, when Umeko was like, boss, I thought she was talking about Sholumpo for a second instead of Garo.
So did I.
That was the first person my mind jumped to, probably because of that dumb joke we made.
I was waiting for Sho to go, for some reason, him to know who Doggy Kruger was. Because, it's him, so why not? And I was literally waiting for him to say the phrase, I am not Doggy Kruger. I know it's stupid, but I kind of expected it.
No, it's funny.
Because I was like, because my brain didn't even register that there was another dog person standing right there. And
right, I completely forgot that Garo was there, and thought, wait, is she calling Sholumpo Doggy Kruger? Oh, wait, Garo, right. That makes more sense, for sure.
But the only issue I had with her calling Garu boss was, seriously, you've worked with this dude with Doggy Kruger for 10 years. What, do all dogs look alike to you? That's racist.
The biggest difference is height. Doggy Kruger is 6 feet tall. Garo is 5 feet tall.
And Kruger stands up straight. Garo's always hunched over outside of that. Outside of the moon issue with the previous episode. Outside of those two situations, Garu is literally 2 feet shorter than him. It's he was eye to eye with Umeko. It's wait, how did you even mess this up?
Beats the heck out of me.
Final thoughts? Overall, I enjoyed this episode. I'm always down for seeing more KyuuRanger. Despite the small cameo that we got, KyuuRanger did not make it bad. This was a good episode. Continuing the trend of episodes being strangely well written recently.
I mean, as long as you have fun, right? And like you said, I'm all for more KyuuRanger any day of the week, so this was a good week for us.
Yeah, I definitely had fun this episode. I mean, wow, compared to, I was saying earlier, the X8 crossover, this is so many levels above that. It's really insane. I mean, they fit in comedy, action, nostalgia, all the opening themes. Holy crap. This episode is so good. And I hope they keep it up for the rest of KyuuRanger.
Mm-hmm.
This makes up for the terrible X8 crossover. It really does, in my opinion. Because this is how you do a crossover episode.
You actually get those other characters involved.
Right. Rather than just a one-off power-up or, we're going to explain why, Red's an X8 for no apparent reason. This made sense. It made logistical plot sense. Outside of them having to explain the whole alternate universe, alternate Earth thing, there's no hole in what happened. Except for the actual wormhole they went through. But there was nothing wrong with this episode outside of maybe, which again, it all comes down to, casting and timing for it, was not having Hoji. other than that, this episode was perfect. It had the entire, or well, and Jasmine. I forgot about her. I keep forgetting
Tetsu.
about her. I should not. I don't count Tetsu. He was an extra ranger. I'm meaning like the main ensemble.
Okay, the
They were
first
missing-
5.
The first 5. I was personally disappointed that they didn't do the full roll call, the full team up thing. But I get why they didn't for time, and it worked. Everybody that was involved in this episode had a reason to be there. Beyond just, hey, look, Toei remembers these guys. We didn't forget about them.
And this does make really good promotion for the Deku Ranger versus Gavin movie.
Right. Which ultimately is why this episode exists.
I'm okay with this.
Let's not kid. So am I. And for me,
Best movie ever.
this is a great movie trailer.
You know what? Yes. This is one of the best movie trailers I've ever seen.
But the fact that they threw in the opening songs for Gavan and Deku Ranger was fantastic. As soon as they started fighting and the Deku Ranger song started, I was like bouncing up and down in my seat. I was like,
Right?
I missed this opening. I was like,
So
if I wasn't
good.
if I wasn't already working overtime and trying to binge watch Blade and sleep at the same time, I would be watching Deku Ranger right now.
Okay, let's get this settled right now. Is Deku Ranger your favorite Sentai opening theme? For me, yes.
Yes. It is my favorite. It's
up there.
King? If not, then what do you think is...
I'm not denying it's a good one, but KyuuRanger's got it beat for me.
Alright, Decade?
I mean, that whole era of Sentai was pretty damn good. I mean, I loved the Maji Ranger opening, and then the Volcandra
Those are
opening's
all really
fun.
good ones.
And then,
Mhm.
okay, no, I have to be honest. Gekki Ranger is my favorite opening, but this would
I
be
don't
like
blame you.
Yes.
I
This
don't
would be
blame
second or
you.
third for sure. The Gekki Ranger opening, holy shit, is awesome.
I know. Oh my god.
I think what puts Deku Ranger at the top for openings for me is just that opening riff.
The opening riff, and then just the way it carries forward. Like, I just love everything about it. Maji
The
Ranger is really
narration's
good.
awesome.
Bokendra is really good. Gekki Ranger is really good. Shinkenger is really good. But Deku Ranger just takes the cake for me.
What about GoRanger?
So I just started GoRanger. I've watched the first 3 episodes. It's gonna take me a little time to get used to the intro, because the intro feels like it's paying homage to early 80s Sentai. In fact,
much.
I feel like that whole series might be paying homage to early 80s Sentai.
True, but it's one hell of a fun ride.
It is
And
vast.
no, I did not mean to pun there.
It is bafflingly different than Power Rangers RPM. It's like,
And
so
that's what makes it fun.
Power Rangers RPM is like, has this atmosphere of everything sucks and no one is happy. But GoRanger is just like, yeah, we do the thing, let's go!
You're not wrong.
And I'm 3 episodes in.
Oh, wait until you meet Gold and Silver.
I look forward to it. I actually do. I can't wait to meet them.
I have a question. Did you hate them in RPM?
I didn't hate them, but they weren't the best. They were kind of bland and just there to be there.
Then yes, you will like them in GoRanger.
Oh, good. Oh, thank God.
They are fantastic.
They have actual personality, because the most
Oh, yes,
personality Gold was got was, I'm her brother. And the most personality she got was, I'm his sister.
It makes one scene in an
Sorry,
It's
you
a scene
cut
in
out.
GoKaiger where it makes one scene in GoKaiger make a lot more sense when Guy is torn between which one to use.
It makes that scene make more sense?
Yes, because he's sitting there, he's torn because, gold, silver, gold, silver.
Right. I'm a guy, so maybe I should go with gold, but my color is silver, so should I go with the silver one, even though it was a girl?
But it adds depth to the fact that they were just fantastic as extra rangers, on each in their own right. Despite the fact that yes, they were a combi, it adds to the weight of his decision.
And honestly, I feel like the compromise was a really good one, both on Toei's part and in show. Just splice the suits together.
The only downside to that was it led to the Christmas outfit.
What do you mean downside? Gokai Christmas is amazing.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it, but it really was. That whole thing was just odd, fantastic, and creepy all at the same time.
And then everyone else transforms into Battle Fever J because they were the dancing Sentai, and they just start dancing for no reason. Oh god, that was a fucking Christmas episode.
Oh, quick tip, when you get to gold and silver, they have this thing where they basically sense the monsters. I don't know whether or not they explain it. Just a quick heads up for those, how the fuck did you do those moments?
I will let you know if there's an explanation.
Yeah, I think there is, but it's not. It's kind of weird.
Okay. We've been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Did everyone say their final thoughts? Decade? King?
I think, did Vashi say yours?
I did. It was awesome, and this is what a crossover should be.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Screw that Sentai Kamen Rider crossover crap that sucks. do this. Just do this. I guess we should sign off then. Thanks for joining us. If you have time, join us tomorrow for the Kamen Rider podcast. And if not, we'll see you next week. Or in 2 weeks, because they're on break next week. So we have 2 weeks to go.
Both series?
Yep.
Both series from at least a splash screen at the end of the episode.
Okay, let's talk to Zero about doing Heisei Generations next week.
Yay!
So keep an eye out for that. We'll send out notifications and whatnot, and events and all that jazz.
Later, taters.
Yeah. Please check out the Gavan, Sharivan, and Scheider movies. They're pretty awesome. You won't regret it. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
See you guys.